We continue now at the top of Daf Ayin Zayin on the Bezim Mesechet Kesuvos. This is Kesuvos Daf 77b. On the previous Amud, the Gemara was addressing why in the Mishnah do we not list the case of a person who's been with his wife for 10 years and she hasn't given birth to a child. Why is that not also listed in the Mishnah as one of the cases where we force them to divorce? And the Gemara answers, Hasam over there in that case, Ki Omra Havina Bahadei. Let's say she says that I want to stay with him, meaning in the Mishnah. In the cases of our Mishnah, the various blemishes, if she says I want to stay married to him, so Shavkinallah, so we allow her to stay married. But over here, in this case where they're married for 10 years and they don't have children, Afagav de Omra Havina Bahadei, even though she says that I want to stay with him, Lo Shavkinallah, we do not allow her, we don't let them stay married. But the Gemara says this is not a good answer. What about the case where he's afflicted with boils? Even if she says she wants to be with him, lo shafkin, we know that we do not allow it, and yet that's in the Mishnah. The Tanan, as we learned in the Mishnah, chutz mi mukashchin, with the exception of mukashchin, because it causes his skin to deteriorate, and therefore in that situation, the act of sexual relations is actually dangerous, and therefore we do force them to divorce even if she accepted the situation, and so therefore we do list cases like that. So again, why not list this case where they're married for 10 years and they don't have children? And the Gemara answers, again, Vikatani, that was listed in the Mishnah, so why is this not as well? And the Gemara answers, Hasam over there, Ki Amra Dairana Bahadei Besahadi. Over there in a situation of a Mukashchin, if she says, I'm going to live with him with witnesses, meaning I'll always be in front of people, meaning to say we won't have relations. So there, Shafkinallah, there will allow her to do that, will allow her to stay married if they're not going to have relations. But over here in the situation where they're married 10 years without children, Afagav Damar Dairana Bahadei, even though she says she wants to live with him, Besahadi, with witnesses, not have relations with him, Lo Shafkinallah, that we will not allow her to do. And the Gemara continues, Tanya, we learned in a Brayso, Amar Rabbi Yossi says, Sochli Zokin Echad Me'anshi Yerushalayim, a certain elder from the men of Yerushalayim told me, Esrim V'Arba Mukesh Chinhein, there are 24 kinds of people who are afflicted with boils, V'Kulan Amru Chachamim, and by all of them the Chachamim say, Tashmish Kosher Lahem, that having relations is very difficult in such a situation, Ubale Rasan, but the people who have Rasan, which is a kind of skin disease as well, Kosher Mikulan, that is the most difficult. And the Gemara says, Mimai Havis, so what does this develop from? How does a person develop Rason? The Tanya's learned in a Brayso, Heikis Dam Vishimesh, let's say a person has his blood let. He does bloodletting, and then he has relations right after. He's in a weak state. Havan Lobonim Visikin, so he's going to have children who are also weak because of that. Heikizu Shneim, now let's say they both let their blood, meaning both the husband and the wife let their blood, and then they have relations, Vishimshu, and then they have relations. Havin Lobonim Bale Rasan, then they're going to have children who have Rasan, who have this particular skin disease. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rapapa says, Lo Amran, we only say this, Ela de lo toy midi, if the person let his blood and didn't eat anything afterwards. Aval toy midi, but if he ate something that gives him some strength, less lanba, then there is no concern. And the Gemara continues, My simoni, what are the signs of Rasan? And the answer is Dolfon Eine, let's say his eyes, his eyes are tearing, they're dripping with tears. V'daivi nechire, and his nose is running. V'isle rira mipume, and he has drool coming from his mouth. V'ramu didve lave, and there are flies that are flying over him, that are landing on him. Those are all the signs of this disease. And the Gemara says, Umaya suse, and what is the way to heal a person from this disease? And the Gemara continues, Amar Abaya says, Pila v'ludna, the person brings pila and ludna, these are kinds of grasses. Girda de agoza, this is the shell of a nut. Vigirda de ashba, these are the shavings of hides. Uklil malka, it's a kind of herb. Umesachla de dikla simka, and that's a part of a red palm tree. It's like a flower, a shrub that's on a red palm tree. He takes all of these items, v'shalak lahu bahade hadadi, and he boils them all together. Uma'aya le levesa de shisha, and then he brings this person in, the sick person in, to a house that has surrounded with marble walls. V'loika besa de shisha, if you don't have a house with marble, ma'aya le levesa de shev livne v'aricha, you bring to a house where there's thick walls, meaning 7 bricks thickness, and an aricha, which is also like another half a brick, so it's thick walls. And he takes from this concoction 300 cups, and he pours it on the individual's head, until his skull becomes soft. He then tears open the skull. The idea over here is that there's an insect in the brain that is causing this disease. He takes 4 leaves of the hadas, umadli kol chad kar, and he puts each one under each leg of this insect, umosiv chad v'shakel b'tzivsa v'kolile, and then he takes a tweezers, and he's able to take this insect off. The reason why he puts the leaves under the legs is so that the insect doesn't grab onto the brain, and then he takes that insect and he burns it. The elo, and if he doesn't burn it, hadri lavi, then the insect will attack once again. And the Gemara continues, Machriz Rabbi Yochanan announced, Hizaru mizuvuve shel balei rasan. Be careful from the flies, the flies that are surrounding those who have this disease, rasan, because they carry the disease, and they will give you this disease. Rabbi Zera lahava yasa bezike. Rabbi Zera, he wouldn't sit in the direction that the wind blew, so the wind might carry over the disease from a sick individual. He wouldn't sit in that direction of the sick person. Rabbi Lazar lo ayil ba'ahle. Rabbi Lazar, similarly, he wouldn't go into the tent of a sick person, a person with this disease of rasan. Rabbi Ami v'Rabbi Asi lo hava ochli mi be'eh dahim avoa. Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi, they wouldn't eat from eggs that came from the alleyway of someone who had this illness. But Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, michrach behu v'asik b'Torah. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, he would deal with these individuals, he would take care of them, and he would study Torah. That would be his protection. Amar, he said that the pasuk says, Ayelas ahavim v'yalas chen, that the Torah talks about the fact that it gives grace to the person who learns Torah. Imchein ma'ala lomdef, it gives grace to the person who learns it. Agune lo migna, surely will it not protect against any disease. And the Gemara continues with a story about Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, ki aveshachiv, when he was to die, amru le malach hamaves, so they told the malach hamaves, zil avid le ruse, go do whatever Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi says, however he wants to die, whatever is considered respectful to him, that's what you should do. So azilis chazile, so the malach hamaves went and he appeared to Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Amar le said to him, achvili duchto, I want you to show me my place in Olam Haba and Gan Eden. Amar le l'chiyai, he said, okay, I'll do that. Amar le, and then he also said to him, havli sakinach, he said to the malach hamaves, give me your knife, dilma mevasis li ba'orcha, because otherwise I'll be terrified, I'll be afraid while we're on the road. Yohava nehili, so he gave the knife to him. Kimot al-Hasam, when they got there, Dalia, so the Malach HaMavis lifted him up, Kamach vile, so and he showed him what it looked like. He showed him what this area of Gan Eden or of Olam Haba, what it looked like. So Shavar Nafalu Gisa, so he jumped over the wall, and he entered into paradise while he was still alive. So Nakte Bekarna Deglime, so the Malach HaMavis, he grabbed the corner of his cloak. Amar Leini said to him, meaning Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said to the Malach HaMavis, B'shvuas, I take an oath, to Lo Asina, I'm not coming with you back to this world, I'm staying over here. Amar Kutsha Barichu, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, if ever in this world he ever asked and went back on an oath, then he has to go back on this as well, he'll have to return to the world. But but if he never went back on a shvuah in this world, then he doesn't have to return to this world, he can stay in Gan Eden. And so the Gemara says, Amar Lei said to him, Havli Sakinoi, the Malach HaMavis said, at least you should give me back my knife. So Lo Havik Yoivle, so he wouldn't give the knife back because he didn't want other people to die. So Nafka Baskala, so Baskal went out, V'yamrele, and said to him, Hav Nihile, give him the knife. The mitzvah libriyasa, this is necessary for people. It's necessary. People are not supposed to live forever. Machriz Elio Kameh, so now he was in paradise, and Elio Navi announced in front of him, Panu Makam Levar Liyue, Panu Makam Levar Liyue. He said, clear a path for Levoy, clear a path for Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, clear a path for Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, that's Levar Levoy. So Azal Ashkechel Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. So then Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi came in and he found Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Davi Yosef al Tlos Eser Tachteke Pisa, that he was sitting on 13 golden stools. Amar Lei, so Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said to him, Atu bar Levi, are you the son of Levi? Amar Lehein, he said, yes, I am. So then he said to him, Nira Sokeshas Biyamecha, was there ever a rainbow? Did a rainbow ever appear during your lifetime? Amar Lehein, he said, yes. So he said to him, Imkain, if so, Bar Levi, you can't be Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, because you would have been such a tzaddik that a rainbow would never have appeared. It only appears during a generation where there is no pure tzaddik. But the Gemara says, Velo, it's not true. To lo havoi midi, really there was no rainbow during his time. Elosavar lo achzik tibus l'nafshoy. Just Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi thought to himself, he doesn't want to take for himself credit, so that's why he answered that there was a rainbow. And the Gemara continues with a similar story. Rabbi Chanina bar Papa Shushvine Havi. Rabbi Chanina bar Papa, he was a friend of the Malach HaMavis. Kiava Kanicha Nafshe, when it was time for him to die, Amrule le Malach HaMavis, Zilavid le Ruse. They said to the Malach HaMavis, do what he wants you to do. Azal Agabi V'schazile, so he came before him, he appeared to him. Amar le said to him, Shavki Tlos and Yom, and give me 30 days, Tlos and Yom, Adinahader Talmudoi, so I can go over all of my learning. The Amri, because they say, Ashrei Misha Bolakan v'Talmuda b'Yado, fortunate is the one who comes to paradise and he has all of his learning with him. So Shavke, so he allowed him 30 days. Levasar Tlas and Yom and Azal is Chazile. So after 30 days, again the Malach HaMavis appeared to him. Amarle said to him, Achvili duchtoi, show me my place in paradise. Amarle lechie, he said, okay. Amarle havli sakinach dilma mevasas li borcha, he said, give me your knife, maybe you'll frighten me on the road. Amarle, so now the Malach HaMavis said to him, Kechavrach bois lemevad li, are you trying to have me do to you what I did to your friend, meaning you want to happen to you what I did with Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi? You're trying to enter into paradise while you're still alive. Amarle, he said to him, I see Sefer Torah v'chazi. He said, bring a Sefer Torah and look. Me'ika midi dechsiv beit lo kayamti. Is there anything in the Sefer Torah, written in the Sefer Torah, that I have not fulfilled, meaning I am worthy of the same thing as Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi? So Amarle, so the Malach HaMavis said back to him, Mi'echrachit bevali roason. Did you wrap yourself up? Did you connect yourself to people with roason like Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi? V'yasik b'Torah, and learn Torah. Did you do that, which Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi did? You're not really on the same level as Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi. But the Gemara comments, V'afilu hachi, nevertheless, ki nachnavshe, when he died, ifsik le'amuda denura bein didei li'alma. There was a pillar of fire that separated between him and between everyone else. Ugamiri, and there's a tradition, de lo mafsik amuda denura l'chad bedora, or l'train bedora, that this pillar of fire, it only separates for one or two in a generation. So you see really that Rabbi Chanina bar Papa was in fact a great individual. And the Gemara continues, Karav Lagabi Rabbi Alexandri. So Rabbi Alexandri came close to the pillar of fire, and Amar, and he said, Asay b'shvil kvod chachamim, for the honor of the chachamim, remove this pillar of fire, so that we can deal with your burial, we can deal with you. Lo ashkach, he paid no attention. So Asay b'shvil kvod avicha, then he said, do it for the honor of your father. Again, lo ashkach, he paid no attention. Asay b'shvil kvod atzmacha, do it for your own honor, istalik, and so then the pillar of fire was removed. And the Gemara continues, Amar Abaya says, Lafukim iman de lokayim afilu osachas. The reason this fire comes is to separate so that there's no connection. He has no connection with somebody who has not fulfilled even one letter of the Torah. Amar le Ravada bar Masna. Ravada bar Masna said to him, to Abaya, Lafukim imar, no, it's to exclude you, the master. He was trying to rebuke Abaya for something he did wrong. To lo isle makali gari, because he, meaning you, Abaya, you don't have a fence, you don't have a guardrail for your roof, and that is already a sin that doesn't allow you to come close, so to speak, to Rabbi Chanina bar Papa. And the Gemara continues, Veloi, but it's not really true. Abaya really did not commit this Avera. Mihava, he really did have a guardrail. Vahishaita hu deshad yisek. It happened to be at that moment, the wind had blown it down. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina says, Mipnei ma ein bale roason bebavel. Why is it that there's no one afflicted with roason in Bavel? Mipnei she'ochlin tardin. It's because they eat beets. V'shosin sheicher shel hizmi, and they drink the beer of the hizmi plant, and that keeps them healthy. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Mipnei ma'in mitzoraim bebavel. Why are there no lepers in Bavel? Mipnei she'ochlin tradin. Again, they eat beets. V'shosin sheicher, and they drink beer. V'rochtzin b'mei paras, and they bathe themselves in the Euphrates River. Hadron aloch, hamader es ishto, we will return to you. Hamader es ishto, this is the end of the 7th parak of Mesechet Kesubos. If you're enjoying these videos and this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And please take a look at the description box below to see how you can support this channel. And in the next video, we will begin the 8th parak of Mesechet Kesubos on Daf Ayin Ches Amud Aleph.